Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Girls Lounge with your hosts, Liz and KT. And today we're doing a favorite theme of both of ours and for the listeners as well. And that is we're going to be reading Am I the A-Hole Reddit stories. But this time the theme is going to be friendship drama. And that is honestly my favorite type of drama to hear about. So I'm really excited to get into those stories later. But like always, we're going to get into what we've been up to. So, Liz, go ahead and tell the loungers what you've been up to.
Not the loungers. I like that name. I've been back home now, trying to get back into my room, back into some routine. I've been in the process of, in quotes, if you're not watching the video, cleaning my room. Um, Not KT side eyeing me, but we've made some progress. Emphasis on it's a work in progress because I am the kind of person that when I clean, I put things on my bed, right? So at first, it was only I sleep in a queen size bed. So at first, it was only on half of the bed, and I was sleeping on the other half. But as I've gotten more into the cleaning, and I'm also cleaning out my closet too, I want to emphasize I'm getting rid of stuff here. But as I'm getting more into that process, the bed kind of filled up a little bit. Now there's stuff on both sides of my bed. So for the past couple nights, I think I'm on night 4 now, I've been sleeping in the living room on the couch. So I'm committing myself here on the podcast, you guys. By the time the next episode is out, my update is going to be that my room is done. It is complete. So I got a week to get it together. That is my little update. Oh, and then I've also been with my friend Jill. So we're doing a little girls trip as we do every summer. It's a little yearly tradition we have. And we were like, we need to get our back up, get our bags up, get that money flowing. So we've been door dashing. We have a goal of $40 a day, and we've been meeting that goal, surpassing that goal some days. And in the morning we go and we go to work. My parents will ask me "Oh, where you going?" I'm like, "Where else am I going? What else do I have to do?" So I've been door dashing with my friend Jill, and actually, it's an interesting experience. Been seeing some parts of our city here that I didn't know existed, but it's fun together.
For me, I also saw Jill. No, but I've also seen some other friends recently just spending more time with friends, which is good. Me and Liz actually just saw each other over the weekend with two of our other friends, and we had a really good shopping day at the outlets, and it was so good. Like I literally texted them the other day. I was like, "This is so random," but I'm really like just smiling because I'm just so happy of all the good stuff we got. But other than that, I just been chilling, honestly. Continuing doing my personal assistant work for my mom. That's what I call it. Literally, you guys, I shred paper for 5 hours today. Yeah, I'm not okay. But you know what? I'd rather be doing that than something else. And then in terms of money, getting my money up, because I also need to get my money up. I have been doing my surveys and I got some survey payment today and I was like, yay! I'm happy about that. So yeah, don't be sleeping on them little survey apps. Shout out Jill for telling me about them. So yeah, saw my friends, slowly getting over my driving anxiety, which also Liz and Jill helped me out with. They drove with me one day, which was like really fun. This is like my first time driving with other people in the car that are like not my family. So that was like I was like a little nervous about it, but like once they were actually in the car and we started driving, I was like, oh wait, like I got this. So that was really cool and that definitely helped me out a lot. I drove with my dad the other day and then I think tomorrow I plan on going driving. So I'm just working on getting more comfortable. Like the car that I have is like my old brother's car. So we got it more cleaned out because boys just keep their car disgusting for some reason. And I don't know, I'm just getting more comfortable with just driving and driving that car in general. So I feel like that goal I have for myself in the beginning of summer is slowly but surely being accomplished. So I'm happy about that. And then something not so happy also happened, and we're calling it hashtag knife gate. So as I said, me, Liz, Jill and Kelsey saw each other this weekend, and so we went shopping. We went back to Kelsey's place because she moved out, wanted to see her place. We wanted to spend more time together, and so we cooked dinner together. And so I'm not really like a cooker, so I like was just around. And I was like, well, I feel bad because they're just cooking. I'm just here. I was kind of just being like a sous chef, like, oh, if they need something thrown away, like here I am, blah blah. But I was like, I could wash the dishes. So it was going good. It was fine. Almost burnt my hand with the hot water that should have been my side. And then I'm cleaning a knife. The next thing you know, I cut myself. Don't even know how it happened. I think I just wasn't really paying attention. And I there was a lot of blood that came out. I won't spare you guys the details. But yeah, it looks a lot better today. Can't really tell, but it's healing a lot. Like you can't even see like under my skin. But yeah, it was a lot of blood. I was like, ooh. I swear I was like this close to passing. I was like, I need some water. And then I got my water bottle and I was just like chugging down water. But yeah, that was definitely an experience. And my parents were just like, oh Lord, like no more washing knives. Of course, I'm dramatic. I'm the youngest sibling. So, of course, I told everyone that, I almost died today. And they were just like, maybe you don't need to be in the kitchen. So yeah, I just think maybe I just should never wash knives again.
The way I feel like you were almost done with the dishes too, I feel like the knife was like almost the end. You almost made it, and then knife gate happened.
Yeah, I was almost done. I think I only had like it was like another utensil and then like two other things I needed to wash. And then that happened. I was like, great. But I felt bad because I was like, not me getting cut in Kelsey's kitchen and just having this whole debacle.
Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to our favorites of the week. We know we've been doing a lot of things, got some little different favorites. My favorite of the week is reading. You guys, I've said before, but like it's official. I'm in my reading era. I've finished my Goodreads goal for the year. Uh to be fair, it was not high. I went low because after last year where I only read like less than 5 books, I think. I was like, let me not overshoot it. We're gonna go low, set the bar low, and I made it. I think I did. It was 10 books, so it was not bad to surpass. And this past book, I was reading this book that's been trending on TikTok. Let me find the name real quick. But you guys, it was worth the hype. It was so good. Oh, it's called Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. She's the one who did the um I Need Some Help Here, Kennedy. What's that book series?
Magnolia Parks.
Yes, that series. I haven't read it yet, but I think I need to read it now because that book was so good, you guys. Just the way she wrote it. And I thought it was so different because the way you're in the FMC's head and everything, and like she overanalyzes and she can like immediately tell if people are lying just by like reading their facial expressions. I'm like, sometimes I feel like I'm really good observing. So being like in her head and everything was really cool to read. And yeah, finished that book and now I'm looking for a new book to read. So we'll see what I find.
Yeah, I should have stuck with that goal of, aiming low because I sure enough kept my reading goal the same. But you know what? We're going to get through it this summer. I believe in myself. But my favorite of the week has been shopping, which is crazy. Can you tell that I had a good shopping experience that now I'm like, wow, I love shopping. But I just feel like I've just gotten some good things recently, like at the outlet, when I ordered stuff from this store called the Beach Club, or not store, business called the Beach Club. And even when I went to literally our local TJ Maxx, which I never find stuff at, and then I found some stuff there. So I've been loving shopping recently. I'm like, I shouldn't because I'm trying to save money. And I really haven't been spending money for real. But I'm just like, ugh, I really could just blow all my money if I wanted to, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do that because that would be so irresponsible. But I just love shopping because I've been finding some good things.
No, I'm gonna expose Kennedy here real quick on our little shopping trip. She said you guys have to hold me accountable. My goal is no more than $50 she's spending, right? And then she was like, we were like, does that include your Dunkin' order? And she was like, yes. So she was like at $40 here. Let's just say I think she might have surpassed that. I think her goal went up a little bit, but in her defense, she found some really cute finds. I think we all found finds, and it was all on clearance. So a deal is a deal. A win is a win.
All I know is that I'm happy that as long as it wasn't over $100, then we're good.
Girl math, if that's all I'm hearing. And we're gonna go ahead and move on to our little sports corner. Today we don't got much to discuss because it was an off weekend last weekend, but this upcoming weekend, I didn't realize it was Father's Day. I thought that was the following weekend. So, but it's Father's Day for those of you guys who didn't know. So if you're listening to this, you still have time to get your Father's Day gift. But it's also the Canada GP. And we are almost at the end of our, oh, we are, after the Canada GP, we're going to be restarting all of our draws because all of us have gotten two people. We did have a little hiccup. We're just gonna ignore that. So Kennedy, why don't you give us a little recap of what points we're at?
Yes, I totally forgot we were doing this, but yes, so I got my drivers for the Spain Grand Prix, and I got Isaac and Oscar, and wow, did that help me out a lot. So now I'm at 106 points because I got a point for Elizabeth's face. I'm weak because I got a point for Oscar being first place, so 25 points. Isaac Hadjar between fourth and 10th place, so plus 4 points. Fastest lap plus 5. Ahead of teammate plus 6. Quali's pole another 5. And then Elizabeth, she had Kimi Antonelli and Pierre Gasly. So there wasn't enough. So she had minus 10 points. 4th through 10th place gave her 4 points. And then ahead of teammate gave her 3 points. So I finished the last race weekend with 106 points, and Elizabeth finished with 69 points. But that's okay because since we are going to be resetting after the Canada GP, like she has the chance to get some heavy hitters that would like boost her up over 20 points. So the competition is not over till it's over. And then for Canada, I have Gabrielle Bortoletto, and then Liz has Lance Stroll, which will actually just be his reserve driver, but still, whatever his driver gets, she'll get those points. And then Franco Colapinto.
Got my man Franco. Hope he pulls through. But you guys, we're only halfway through the season. I think like we're exactly halfway through the season from what I was seeing on social media. So, like Kenny said, anything can happen. There was that one race where like one of us lost hella points. So that could still happen. And one of us could just come ahead. So I still have hope is what I'm saying.
Yes, and one honorable mention for the tennis slash F1 fan crossover that just seems to happen. I just have to say shout out to Coco Golf and Carlos Alcaraz to win the French Open, because those are the two from the beginning. I was like, I really want Coco to win and I really want Carlos to win. And they won. So I'm very happy about that.
I was actually watching the Carlos match. Yeah, they're called tennis matches. Look at me. I know my terms. And it was actually really good. It was very close from what I remember. So, yeah, Carlos did his thing. So did Coco, as she always does.
And now we're gonna get into what we have been watching. Yeah, we don't have anything for pops culture because the girlies. I swear, when we're recording, they like want to do nothing, and then when we like are like, oh, we're gonna skip a week, they just everything comes out of the woodworks. But that's fine. I'll let Liz go first with what she's watching because I unfortunately have watched more than her.
So, as I've been reading, you guys, I haven't really been watching TV too much, but Ginny and Georgia just dropped. And yes, I am one of those people that is caught up on the seasons. Is it cringy? Yes. Am I still going to watch it? Of course. So, season 3 just dropped, and yeah, so that just dropped. And I was a little backstory here. I started watching it. By started, I truly mean started because I've only watched one episode of it. But me and my brother, we were gonna watch it together, right? We were gonna watch it together, react together. And then I come back from our shopping trip, and somehow he goes from episode 2 to episode 6. And then the next day he was done with the season. So I'm kind of like on my own now watching it, which means we're gonna go at a slower pace. But so I have gotten like a couple spoilers, and I will be finishing the season because the spoilers I've gotten are really crazy. I'm trying to see how he got from like point A to point Z. That's how crazy. Like we're missing many books in between. So I started Ginny and Georgia. So far, episode 1 was kind of boring, not gonna lie. I think I kind of fell asleep, but I know it gets crazy from the spoilers I've seen. So I'll update you guys on when I finish. Might be a while.
And then for me, I finally finished some things, so I'm happy to talk about that. So I finished Black Mirror season 7. I know a couple episodes ago I said I started it. Finally finished it, and I really liked the last episode, but it was a little confusing. I remember I texted my friend Ari about it because she also watches, because it was like I liked it because it was a part 2 of an episode from the previous season, so I thought that was really cool because I feel like they like don't do that. But then I was like, it's been like 2 years since the last season. I don't remember anything. So I was like, oh. But towards the end, I was like, okay, the season wasn't necessarily my favorite, but there were some good episodes. And then I watched American Manhunt, Osama bin Laden. I really enjoyed that. Obviously, being American, you hear about 9/11 your whole life, but like no matter how much stuff you learn about, I feel like every time there's something new about it, I always learn something new. So I always like to, watch things like that. And I actually learned a lot that I didn't realize about, the whole capture of him. Like I didn't realize they had like their eye on him for like a long time and just how they captured him. And I thought the information about how like the whatever part of the Navy like went to him, how they prepared for it was very interesting because like you don't ever really think about that stuff. At least I don't. I'm just like, oh, like yeah, they send them in and then boom. But no, it's like actually like months of training, and the way they did it was really cool. I'm not gonna spoil anything because I know Elizabeth wants to watch it, but I definitely recommend it. And then I actually finished F1 the Academy today, while I was shredding away some papers. And I I wanted to get into F1 Academy because it's like the girl version of F1, even though F1 isn't like just for boys. It just so happens that it's only boys right now. And it was really interesting because I know their races are a little bit different, their race weekends are a little different. And it actually kind of has me interested. I'm like, wait, now I need to kind of keep up. And I think it's like really cool that Susie Wolf created this to like get girls into motorsports and into actual F1 as well. And like the races were actually really interesting, and I really like the drivers' personalities, and I was glad to see some Americans. I was like, yes. But yeah, so definitely try to start tuning into some F1 Academy races in the future. And then lastly, I started the show called Overcompensating, and I my hope is to finish it by the end of this week. It is so good and funny. It's just essentially one of those like comedy college shows, similar vibes of The Sex Life of College Girls, if you guys have ever seen that show. So just really funny, kind of corny humor, but it's really good. So I would recommend it.
And now we're gonna go ahead and get into song of the week. So for song of the week, we're just gonna say our songs today. So if you guys want to like pause, go to give it a little listen, it'll be like we're listening to it together. So my song of the week is 21 by Gracie Abrams. I absolutely love the chorus of the song, and I feel like it's very like summer vibes, windows roll down, and it's Gracie Abrams. Do I need to say more?
And my song of the week is Rock That Body by Black Eyed Peas. I mean, my reasoning for the song is the same as Elizabeth. Windows down, summer vibes. So good.
And now that we got that out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and get into the topic of the episode. So, like Kennedy said, this is one of our favorite episodes to do, the Am I the A-hole stories. But this little theme that we got going is friendships, specifically friendship drama, which is always really interesting to just analyze and see what these people are doing, because sometimes it's like relatable and sometimes it's like, what the heck are you doing? How did you get into this situation?
Yes, so we're each gonna have two stories each to tell, like always, and we're just gonna discuss it. And feel free to share your thoughts down all below. I always like seeing other people's feedback because we might think one thing and then other people think another. So it's just always interesting to get the different perspectives. So I'm gonna go first. This was posted obviously in the Am I the A-hole subreddit 5 years ago. It seems like the user has deleted their account, so I don't have that information, but the title is Am I the A-hole for ending a 20-year friendship over a vacation gone wrong? Elizabeth's face, I'm weak. So, for context, this friend, 27 female, and myself, 26 female, have known each other since the third grade. She mentioned the idea of going on a mini vacation together since I'm moving to a new state soon. I let her know that I'd be down, but I couldn't spend too much time on it because I had a lot of moving expenses coming up and would be leaving one of my jobs behind. She agreed that we could do a cheap trip, and so I mentioned maybe going to DC or Charlotte since we had friends there we could stay with and could save us both a ton of money on hotels. She said that she'd really prefer to go to Boston instead, but that she was willing to pay for the hotel since she knew I was trying to save money for my move. Fun. So I went ahead and bought our flights, and the night before the trip, I sent her the breakdown of what her half cost, and she responded with, "We'll figure everything out at the airport." The next morning, I pick her up for the airport. We park, get on the plane, and literally as soon as we land, I get a text from my mom that I had some kind of parking ticket mailed to her house that I now owed $375 or my license was going to be suspended. Obviously, my mood immediately went to shit because I wasn't anticipating anything like that coming up. I got so stressed out that I started tearing up, and my friend at this point asked me what's wrong. I tell her, and she says, "Don't worry about paying for the hotel, I'll cover it." To which I'm thinking in my head, didn't we already decide that from the beginning? She still hasn't mentioned anything about sending me the money for her flight or the parking and just kind of waits for me to collect myself, and then we go start walking around the city. I would like to also mention that this friend of mine is a director at a hotel or at a hospital, my bad, and makes very good money. And she talks about it all the time. So, anyway, we're walking around and I'm trying to get myself together when all of a sudden we come across a tour. The tour costs $45 with tax, and my friend insists that she really wants to go. Obviously, I'm not in a position where paying that much money feels comfortable for me, but again, I wanted to be a good friend, so I hesitantly agree. We get up to the cashier, and the lady asks us if we're paying together or separate, to which my friend responds separate, super fast and kind of loud. At this point, I totally shut down and couldn't bring myself to fake having a good time. We ended up doing the trip separately the next day, and when we got back home, I sent her a long message about how disrespected I felt when she never paid me for her flight, that she had zero empathy when I was clearly upset and stressed and was overall so incredibly selfish. I just decided I don't want friends like that in my life and let her know I didn't think we added any value to each other's lives and it was time to part ways. Am I the a hole for totally and completely ending this friendship of 20 years over an incident like this? And then she does have an edit. She says, "At the end of the trip, I explicitly asked for her to pay for her half of the flights, and she told me no because she had a terrible time due to my lack of enthusiasm and was therefore justified in not paying."
Okay, I have thoughts before the edit and after the edit. So before the edit, I was like, okay, well, like, I feel like there's no communication onto like, well, can you like send me the money for this? Like, that kind of thing. And then also before the edit, I was like, well, if she can't afford to go on this like tour thing or whatever it was, I feel like she should have said something because it didn't, I feel like it wasn't implied that she said something. It was just kind of like she went against her will on it, but she went and she just didn't have a good time, right? That's kind of like the impression I got. I don't know if that's like also what you got, Kennedy.
Yeah, honestly, I just, in my opinion, I'm like, why did y'all even go on this trip in the first place if you couldn't afford it? And the whole tour thing, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know why she felt like she had to go, if that makes sense.
No, that's what I'm also at. Especially if she can't afford to go on it. Why are you gonna pay for something that one you can't afford, two that you don't want to do. So henceforth, three you're not going to enjoy it. I feel like you're just wasting money that you don't have. And then so like before the edit, I was like, I feel like she is the a-hole just because of like the attitude towards the trip. Like from the beginning she was like already didn't want to go on this trip, but she still went on the trip. And it's kind of like you're going on this trip, but you're gonna be complaining about it because you don't have money the whole time, right? So like yes, the a-hole but not the a-hole is what I was getting. But then after the edit I was kind of like, well, I feel like you're both a-holes in this situation because the friend should have obviously paid for her part of the trip. Like, sorry you didn't have a good time. You still went on this trip. You should still pay the money. Like, I can't help that part. But at the same time, I'm like, the main girl didn't want to go. So why did this trip even happen? I don't know. I feel like our characters here are lacking in the being able to say no department.
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely a lack of communication, and I'm confused. Like, I feel like the OP definitely has some type of feeling about how her friend has money because it's like, oh, and not to mention, like, my friend is a hospital director. She makes all this money. I'm like, okay, that does not mean she has to spend it on you. But at the same time, I agree with your point where it's like, okay, just because you have a bad time does not mean you don't pay your part of the trip, especially if you know your friend is struggling with money. And it's like, OP didn't even want to go to Boston. She wanted to go to DC or some other place because they have friends there so they could like save money. But it's like but it's like OP's friend wanted to go to this city. So it's like I feel like I like if I was in OP's friend's position, I probably would have had no problem paying for the tour because it's like I'm the one that wanted to go to the city and we both kind of agreed to go on this trip. So I don't know. Ending a friendship over this is kind of crazy, though. I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah, I feel like we're missing some like backstory. I feel like the friendship was already on a rocky road, a rocky path here, and the trip just obviously didn't help in it and resulted in the friendship ending, is the vibe I caught. I definitely think I agree with everything you said about how like OP, I don't know why OP's going on this trip. And I do think that there is some resentment because I feel like I was like, okay, well maybe later on, like something about her being like the friend being a hospital director and having this amount of money is gonna like play into something. But I feel like it never did play into it, you know? Yeah, I think OP just should have said, no, I'm not in a good financial situation right now and just caught it as is, you know? Don't go on a trip if you can't afford it. So my overall judgment is I don't want to say that they're both a-holes, but I feel like they both are at fault in this situation. Like no one is not guilty.
Yes, and the overall vote for this story was everyone sucks. So your judgment would be correct. And the top comment, I'm gonna just read it quickly, just says, "You're the a hole, actually. If you have no spending money, why on earth did you go to Boston? I get the car thing came out of nowhere, but what did you expect to do when you got there? Sit in the room? You mentioned her money like she should have paid your way. Sound like you didn't communicate enough." And then they also had to edit. They said, "I see OP's friend was supposed to pay her back for the plane ticket, but OP did not ask them at all for the money at any point. So, I mean, I guess everyone sucks here would be the correct one." And then OP did reply, and she said, "I had spending money saved for the trip, but only under the assumption that she was sending me money for her flight, which she never did. So the money I had planned on spending for activities was now tied up in her flight cost."
Yeah, I agree with everything that comment said. And also, new thought, why wasn't there any planning for this trip done ahead of time so we could agree on what the activities we were doing? Because I feel like you're on a budget. You should see like what you can afford ahead of time so you're not like surprised when you get there and you have to pay $45 for a tour, you know? Yeah. I didn't even know that they both suck as an option, but they both suck.
Yeah, I agree with Liz. There's definitely a lack of communication. So I think that's the end of discussion for that story.
And now, my story. I want to preface by saying my stories, I did not read them through because I wanted to be surprised with Kennedy. So I was hooked by the titles. So, my first one here is, am I the a hole for stirring up friendship drama on social media? I, 17 male, recently started an Instagram account and I began finding people to follow. Naturally, I want to follow all the people I know, but I also want to have a decent follower to following ratio. At one point, I had like 60 followers and I followed like 200 people. Most of the people I know don't follow me back. If it's a public account, I get it since they might not notice who follows them, but for a private account, it's just rude. They know me in real life and they don't follow me back even though they accept my follow requests. What really sucks is that they follow all their other friends back. So here's what I do. If a public account of a friend doesn't follow me back within 3 days, I unfollow. If a private account in general doesn't follow me back, I instantly unfollow. I'm sure they are aware that they get a follower but suddenly lose a follower, and they probably know it's me. So recently at school, church, etc., people have been confronting me about it. They asked me with a look that's a mix of confused and confrontational why I unfollow them. I said it's because they don't follow me back, and I don't want to have an awkwardly low follower to following ratio. Now, I have only about 100 following, so my ratio is at an acceptable 60% or so. Those people, however, didn't accept my reasoning, which is honestly my only reason because if they followed me back, this drama wouldn't have happened. They said that my behavior makes me a jerk on Instagram and that's what I'm doing and that what I'm doing is extremely rude. I said that not following me back, even though they follow me in real life, is equally rude, and that if they don't like me, they should just reject my follow request in the first place. I'm not a bad person to anyone, I just don't understand them. And I heard that some people are even reporting my Instagram account to try to get it disabled by the Instagram company. So, am I the a hole for unfollowing people who don't follow me back for the sake of my stats?
I don't even know what to say. I feel like it just makes so much sense that he's 17 years old with this mindset. Now, I don't know what this is about me, but I get it. The whole point of like, obviously I'm not gonna follow someone if they don't follow me back. Like I'm not your fan, but at the same time, I wouldn't the whole follower to following ratio, that's always a red flag to me, honestly.
I have never, I feel like, met a guy, a male that cares about this. I thought it was only girls that like overanalyze this, right? So I was like sitting here like waiting, like, okay, like he's gonna like something else is gonna switch up, like there's gonna be some like beef, but there never was. And then the fact that he then like brought up like the 60% is crazy. Like he's sitting here calculating this. I feel like I'm caught off guard by the fact that it's a male doing this. I might be being very stereotypical of me, but that's what caught me the most off guard.
I'm just like, why does he care so much? And why do the people confronting him care so much? I assume they're the same age as him. Like, I would never go to someone and be like, why are you not following me? Like, who actually cares? Like, it is not that serious. And also, I'm surprised they care that much being, like, y'all are almost adults, almost able to vote. And you guys are worried about Instagram ratio followings and who follows you. Like, really? And like I said, I get it, but like I don't get the whole follower ratio stuff. I wouldn't necessarily say he's the a hole, but like I don't know.
Yeah, I'm also with you, Kennedy, on like the we're 17-year-olds. I feel like this kind of stuff, like the follower to following ratio, is like when you first get an Instagram, like you're in middle school, like that kind of vibe. But you're about to graduate high school and you're still caring about the follower to following ratio. Kind of a red flag for me, I feel. And then, yeah, the people that are confronting him, I feel like it's the people that probably have that like extension thing where like it tells you when like someone unfollowed you and it tells you who it is and everything. And then I don't know, just the fact that they're confronting him, and then the fact that he's like owning up to it and like confronting them back. I don't know. It's too much for a simple unfollowing and following.
I agree. But I don't know, cause it's like, what would you say? Do you think he's the a hole or not?
I think it's you both suck in this situation too. Cuz he's not doing anything evil. Because I feel like to be the a hole, you have to be like malicious. You have to be like out here, you know, plotting and like actually have some type of evil to you. I don't know, but I think it's you both suck.
I would agree because I just feel like at the end of the day, no matter what side you look at it from, it's just not that serious. Like everyone sucks.
The overall vote is he's the a hole though. And then one of the top comments says, "You're the a hole. The only reason you should follow someone on Instagram is because you want to see the content they post. Nothing else matters." Another person, oh, this person came off aggressive, but you come across as a pathetic attention seeker. Yeah, everybody, I don't see anyone that's like, no, like you're not the a hole, but it is giving attention seeking at the same time.
Yeah, I would say, even though I don't think he's an a hole, I definitely agree with those comments. He definitely
Yeah.
loves the drama. And now for my next story, which I think I'm like 99% sure I listened to the story being read on another podcast. But I forgot about it and then I was reading it. I was like, wait, this sounds familiar. So yeah. So the title of my story is called "Would I Be the A-Hole for Suing My Friend After She Wrote a Book About Me?" And this was posted 1 year ago by the username Book Talk Life. So this story starts off with, I, 29 female, have a friend called Maya. Maya and I have been friends for 9 years after meeting at university. Maya went through a lot of mental health issues in her early to mid 20s, which impacted her career prospects. But a couple years ago, she found an outlet in writing and now writes and publishes her stories online. They are of the spicy romance variety. I've never read any of them because they're just not my thing, but I know she has a lot of regular readers. Recently, Maya shared that she had been contacted by a small publishing company which publishes ebooks who are interested in publishing one of the stories she had been sharing online. I was ecstatic for her, as it is a move towards making writing a profession, which is what she really wants. About 3 weeks ago, a mutual friend of ours, Amy, contacted me and asked if I had read any of Maya's current story, as she had looked it up online and she thought it had some eerie similarities to my life. I looked it up and read a big chunk of it, and it was more than just similarities. It was basically a melodramatic reimagining of my life, specifically about my relationship with my fiance and my complicated relationship with my father. I don't know how relevant this is, but she also altered their characters in certain situations to make the plot pretty toxic. I was devastated and disgusted to say the least. I met up with Maya and asked how she could do this to me. Her explanation was that she was so inspired by my life and the things I told her that the ideas just came to her. I kept saying they weren't her ideas, they were sensationalized details of my real life. She didn't have a single original thought in the whole story. Maya apologized profusely for hurting me and that she was embarrassed by how much she had taken from life, but she really loved writing the book. I told her I wasn't comfortable having my private life aired like that. Maya said nothing in the book was identifiable as me, so it wasn't like she'd done anything illegal, and I said, well, we'll see about that. I've contacted lawyers and they said suing her would be largely pointless in terms of stopping the book being published, but starting legal proceedings might scare a small publishing company enough to drop her as an author. I am seriously considering doing this. Worst case, I can't do anything to stop the book going ahead, but I've caused her an iota of the stress and hurt she's caused me. Best case, this creepy project never sees the light of day. A couple of my friends are saying I shouldn't sue her because at the end of the day, this is her work and an opportunity for her to make a career for herself and take care of her child. After all, after all she's been through. I know this could ruin things for her and I might be acting out of anger, but I really think it's justified after she betrayed my trust like this. Would I be the a-hole to go ahead with suing? And there is an update, but I'll get to that after we discuss.
I didn't think that this story was gonna go that way. I thought it was gonna be like, am I the a hole for like thinking she should have published it? I didn't know we were gonna go into the whole suing thing. Oh, I don't know. I feel like this is a hard one because I do think that Maya should not have published this book without like talking to her and being like, hey, like, is it okay if like you're the inspo for like this character or something? But that obviously didn't happen. But at the same time, I'm like, how identifiable is it? Like, if I like somewhat knew you, or if I'm like a bystander that knows about like your relationship with this guy or whatever, would I be able to know that this book was like about you, inspired by you? Because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like suing is very dramatic, but at the same time, I do understand because it is like she doesn't want her business out there, you know, like she doesn't want to be reminded by it, especially if it's a book that like blows out but blows up, like it's gonna be like a constant reminder. I don't know, Kennedy, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a tricky one for sure because like at the same time, it's definitely a weird move on Maya's part, but at the same time I'm like, well, it's not actually you, you know. But I get how it's weird. And it's like let's say this book does blow up, like let's say it's like a Emily Henry book. Like somebody like me and Liz, we would not know anything about OP and like this whole situation. Like it would be nothing. But I'm like the only people who would really know is like their friends, like Amy in the story, who actually know them. So it's like, really, how many people would actually know it's you? But at the same time, I do think it's very weird that Maya did this specifically because she didn't talk to OP. Like I definitely think she should have definitely communicated like, oh, like I'm writing this book and the character is, you know, very heavily based on you. And I know OP had like problems with her like kind of dramatizing her life events, which I feel like Mike could just get away with saying like, oh yeah, that's like creative freedom. But I honestly don't think this would be something that would hold up in court, honestly, because like her real name wasn't used. It's not like it's a true story. It's just events and characters inspired by her.
Exactly. Like it's not identifiable that it's gonna be her. Like if I'm reading a book and it is inspired by somebody, I'm never gonna imagine that. In my head, this is a complete work of fiction. Unless they say based on a true story, it is fiction completely to me. Does not matter. I'm not over here thinking like, I wonder who this is about. But and it's a book too. Like it's a piece of fiction at the end of the day. So it makes sense that it is gonna be exaggerated. I don't think that like Maya did that intentionally of like I'm gonna over exaggerate this, like make her look worse, like blow this out of proportion. I don't think that was deliberate. I think it's just what goes into like making a story because it is a fiction story, even though it is based on like something that's true. But again, nobody would know that. So I feel like OP is exaggerating a bit. I don't want to say that they're the a hole, but like at the same time, I kind of do because that was like this is like your friend that's like blowing up, like they actually like being a writer is kind of hard, you know, to like get someone's attention and then get published and all that stuff, even if it's like a small publishing company. So to do that, like I understand that she is mad, but I feel like she needs to take like a moment, process before she moves on instead of just like immediately suing. So I'm gonna say she's somewhat the a-hole as my conclusion before the edit.
Yes, so the edit slash update is for everyone talking about the Streisand effect. I have no idea what that is. I am not in the US court slash legal records. Here are not something you can Google or access easily. That being said, I realized Maya could publicize a lawsuit herself to get publicity, and that ultimately I am more concerned about anonymity and it's not worth the risk. I will not be proceeding with the lawsuit. Some people suggested reaching out to the publisher privately, and I'm going to look into that. But either way, I won't drag it out into a court process. And then, just real quick, the top comment just says you would be the a hole, but not for the reason you think. You seem so revenge focused that you are not thinking about additional long term damage that you may recklessly cause to yourself. The lawyers are correct that you don't really have a case, but the threat of legal action could dissuade a small publisher from going forward. This is, however, a double edged sword since the author and publisher can use legal action as free publicity. Also, keep in mind that filing a lawsuit is a matter of public record. A lawsuit can forever attach this book to you since Googling you will probably result in finding out that there is a trashy novel that you say is based on your life story. In all likelihood, this book won't be a hit and will pretty much just die on the vine. And the most it will become will be a great conversation piece when you're older and talking about the strangest things that have ever happened in your life. Which I'm like, ooh, that's a little harsh.
Yeah, I feel like that comment like really like brought everything full circle though. Of I didn't even think about that. Like she wants to be anonymous. She doesn't want people to know that it's her story. But by going through with the lawsuit, like she's bringing more attention to herself and like owning up to it being based on her story. So I feel like that kind of defeats the whole purpose of what she's trying to do here. I do agree with the comment though. And the revenge focus part too, because it's not so much that like anger that like, oh, like I don't want you to use my name. It's like the revenge of like, I want to cause you harm, want to go out of my way to do some evil here, be a little malicious. So yeah, I stand with I think that they're the a-hole for the way they're going about it.
Yes, I agree with Liz, and the subreddit also agrees with Liz because the overall vote was that she is the a hole. And for me, okay, she's not gonna sue, good. But in her update, when she was like, some people suggested reaching out to the publisher privately, and I'm going to look into that. Why? Just leave it alone. Like, girl, you're just making us worse. I feel like if anything needs to be done, talk to Maya, get your grievances out, and just like communicate. Stop going to the extremes. Like, you do not need to talk to anybody. Please.
That part, especially because I feel like she's contradicting herself where she was like, oh, I might have misread. It might have been the friends that said this and not the OP, where they said like, oh, like this is like an opportunity for like Maya and like her kid and everything. Like, we're happy for her, but at the same time, we're gonna go out of our way to like completely undo that. Yeah. I think she just needs to, you don't gotta read the book. You can just act like the book doesn't exist and then you're good. Don't even read the back cover. Just ignore that it's even out there and you're gonna forget.
Exactly. And that's a good point. OP did say, like, this is a good opportunity, especially for her kid. So why are you trying to ruin it? Like, why are you trying to ruin it? And, like, again, I'm not dismissing that Maya is kind of weird for that, especially with no communication. But at the end of the day, like, it's a fiction book. Majority of people reading it are not going to know it's based off you. There's no identifiable, things in it. So I just think, honestly, she should just leave it alone and just talk to Maya, honestly.
Communication, people. And my next and last one is titled, Am I the a hole for not wanting to get involved in my best friend's relationship drama? This is a throwaway account as my friends are there on my main. I, 22 female, live with my two best friends, let's call them Kiara and Bianca, in university dorms. I have known them since high school and we have been best friends since. Kiara is dating Ryan. Ryan and I have also known each other since high school, but were more of a classroom friendship until they started dating. Now, Kay and R have a great relationship, but like any other relationship, they have their fights, and each time they have a disagreement, they come to me to solve it unbiased as I have known them both. I have tried to solve their problems a couple of times, but every time I point out something, they just gang up on me, and then it becomes an argument about how I think I know everything just because I set them up. This time, when they came to me with an argument, I fault I fault out refuse. I think they mean I full out refuse to make any comment or solve anything. I told them I was not interested in being a part of the relationship arguments and it would be better if they try to solve it within themselves, and they just blew off on me about how I didn't care about them enough to help them, or I'm just jealous that they have a relationship. I am single currently. Few of our friends are siding with them, saying that I could have just helped them solve it as I'm the only common friend who can understand both of their perspectives. Edit, I changed the alphabets to fake names for easier following and understanding.
I do not think she's the a hole. They need to either break up, go to couples therapy. I don't know. It's just like you ask her for help and then you're getting mad at her. So why is she even here?
Exactly. And like, if she gives you advice, you don't gotta follow through with it. That doesn't mean like you blow up on them for giving you advice when you ask for the advice. Also, just why are we like in an argument and then we bring someone and then we gang up on the person? I feel like y'all got some toxic tendencies that need to be resolved through a therapist or like taking a break or something, but not bringing your friends into it. That's just a little weird.
Yes, I was gonna say it's so weird that they gang up on her. I'm just like, is this a weird thing y'all like to do? Like, I don't know. I think I think if you have to get someone else involved all the time for y'all's arguments, then there's something deeper that's going wrong in that relationship in terms of communicating.
That part. And then also, I feel like normally, like when you bring in a friend, it's not both people in the relationship bringing in the same friend. Like you both go, like you ask your friends their opinions, and then from there you form your own thoughts, you know? I'm just like imagining them like both like sitting with the person in the same room, arguing about it, getting their opinion, and then like, because it has to be in person, you know? Like, why are we making your friend be the therapist? That's really mad weird. Really weird.
Yeah, and I just think in general you shouldn't really bring other people into like your relationship problems. Obviously, if it's something serious, probably you should. But I'm just assuming they're 22. It's probably something like, "Oh, he said this, she said that, blah 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 blah." Like, is it like you really do not have to bring your friend into every argument? I'm like, should y'all be arguing that much in a relationship? We might need to reevaluate if y'all should actually be together rather than like your friend. And so the dilemma is like, would she be like, is she the a hole for like not wanting to be in their like relationship anymore?
Yeah, for not wanting to like be the friend that's always giving them advice or like help or whatever. Just be a friend that they don't come to with their issue.
So are they mad at her that she doesn't want to be that person anymore?
Yeah, they are mad. And then people are siding. So it says, hold on, let me pull up. It says, yeah, so she said, I'm not gonna like help you guys out anymore because you're always blowing up on me. And then the friends, like outside friends, are mad at the OP for not helping them out because they're saying that that the OP doesn't care about the relationship and helping them out and that they don't understand like why they're not helping.
Now that's crazy. How are y'all gonna be mad when every time she helps, they get mad at her? Like that's the same equivalent to when it's like your friend comes to you about advice, but then they keep making the bad decisions, so you're just like, okay, I'm not gonna give you advice anymore. Like you have to set boundaries for yourself too. Like OP cannot take the mental load of someone else's relationship all the time. Like they need to figure that out on themselves. Like what are they gonna do? Let's say they're married together in a couple years. They still gonna be calling her up? Like no, she has a life.
That part, especially like the mental load of both of them, like ganging up on you, like 2v1. Why are we doing that? I think OP just needs to find new friends because it sounds like it's not even just like the two friends that are in the relationship, but the other friends too. Like they're getting mad at OP for not helping out, but I don't see them jumping to help out in the relationship. Why aren't we offering advice? Why are we all mad at OP? It's because they don't want to be OP.
Exactly. They want OP to do it because they're like, well, I don't want to do it. So you need to go back in there and do it. So yeah, I do not think she's the a hole. I think she needs to get new friends, like Elizabeth said.
I agree with Kennedy, and the overall consensus is not the a hole. And then one of the top comments says, not the a hole. The reaction proves your point. They'd rather point the finger at someone else than work on their relationship issues. I bet you settle the fight since they gang up on you. This is the first sign of a relationship becoming toxic. Step out of the cycle of dysfunction. And then someone else said, not the a hole. You say now K and R have a great relationship, but like any other relationship, they have their fights, and each time they have a disagreement, they come to me to solve it unbiased, as I have known them both. But this doesn't sound like a great relationship. Either the frequent arguments or the way they drag you into it every time. It's not your job to arbitrate a relationship. The fact that they berate you when you let them know you don't want to be in the middle makes it very clear you need to stop being their unpaid therapist or scapegoat.
Yes, yes, yes to everything that comment said.
Yeah, I hope OP got out of that. There is no edits. I'm just hoping OP is out of that friendship, out of that friend circle, no longer being an unpaid therapist.
Yeah, I'd be like you know that I mean, where it's like tip for like
Yeah.
doing like the simplest things. I would be doing that. I'd tell OP to pull that out next time.
OP needs to stay silent unless they're paying.
No, exactly. But that is all the stories we have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoy them. Feel free to share all your thoughts about them because I feel like we have some pretty good, crazy stories today. And I can't wait to listen back to this just to like get re mad again. But with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, share our show, rate our podcast of 5 stars, leave us a review because that really helps us out a lot. Follow all of our social medias. Everything is always linked down below. I've been trying with the TikTok, you guys, recently. I've been trying, so please show some love. And we'll talk to you guys next Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.